Friday, December 11th. That works for me. Regular. We're gonna get into Shadow Club. Did I do the tie game with you guys?
No.
Nope.
I hardly had any winners. For some reason, reindeer. You guys have never seen them before.
I guessed it right.
Reindeer lose one antler at a time, so in the winter they have one, and in the fall they have one. It's really good.
And wait, we had 2 winners in this class. Let's see, Wednesday. Wednesday for 2 points was Daly, who celebrated by taking the next day off. And the very first day for 4 points was Burton.
Yeah!
Which apparently brought her much excitement. Go over also.
Now I have 17 points.
Way to brag, dear. That kid and that kid. All right. So go that. Say the tie game was reindeer and dance after school today. For what's coming up, the checkpoints. My goal is to get you close to 1:30, and then you can just do the bonus reading from there. But your goal is to at least get to 1:30 by next week. But unfortunately, that's also going to be right in the middle of a big, exciting part. The other checkpoint will be Wednesday of next week. Wednesday of next week, you're going to have to get to page 200. If you're not wanting to have to read the 70 minutes in a short period of time, then you're going to have to try and, read it ahead of time. Burton?
On the board it says due next Thursday.
Well, because that's the day you have the test. We're going to be talking about it on Wednesday. So if you don't want me giving away the big things happening before you get to them, then by Wednesday.
So then page
200 by Wednesday.
by Wednesday.
Wednesday. Thursday is officially the day you have that done, because that's when we have the test. Need to borrow the book again? Yep, it's over there on my desk. And let's see. We left off when they were starting the prankish-y things. And the first prank was on Rebecca. And what was the first prank on Rebecca? Bail.
Garden snake in the thermos.
The old garter snake in the thermos trick. We used to do that all the time when I was a kid. Just kidding. And of course, freaks out, throws a snake, snakes through the air. And then they say went well. They were happy, so they continued. Sticking with the animal theme. Austin. What did they take from Austin? Grizzle.
They put the spider on his head and it made him freak out.
Nice. So who did the spider belong to? It belonged to
It was like
one of the other guys. One of the other kid they didn't. No, it belonged to a kid they didn't like. I thought one of the.
No, it was a
Personal
teacher. I thought it was a teacher because he had pets. Yeah.
It was in the teacher's room. I think
it
it belonged to one of the kids. I think it was like Tommy Nichols, maybe like that. Okay. That's what I was thinking too. I thought it belonged to one of the kids because there was like a 2-for-1, and they had to use Tommy Nichols' spider, and they put it on Austin's head. Well, they didn't put it on his head. They put it
In his jacket.
in his hood, and then he put the hood up to be all cool, and he was like, "Something's massaging my head." And he pulled the hood back down. They're like, "What's going on?" It's like, "Rah, rah, rah." And then what happened to the spider?
He got squished.
It got smashed and crushed, which personally made me sad because tarantulas are like spider puppies. They're spiders, but they're still adorable, and they don't really bite or anything like that. It's like a puppy with extra. It's like twice as good as a puppy because it's like a puppy with twice as many legs. And they just kill it, and then the guy just throws his shoe away, which seems like a really mean thing to do with your shoe, with spider guts on it. Hi, kid, burning through her new points. And then we got to, let's see. Oh, no, we'll do basketball player. No, did that. Ooh, swimmer boy. Luke.
They painted his nails.
And when did they paint his nails?
Like at night when he was sleeping.
Apparently he is a sound sleeper, so they went all creeper mode. And they snuck into his room and then painted his toenails while he was sleeping, and then put his nasty socks back on. And then when are his painted nails discovered?
In the swim locker.
It works for me. In this locker room, probably not in the locker, because if you're hiding in the locker, that's a really small place. But the swim locker room, and how does he react when people find out about his painted nails? He curls into a ball and cries, which is not a good thing to do. And of course, the coach laughs at him while he cries too, because that's what a good coach does. When one of your athletes curls into a ball and cry, you go, "Ha ha, loser!" That's how I coach my girls all the time. Worked wonderfully. So we had that one, Rebecca.
I was gonna answer.
Well, I'm saving the basketball one. Ooh. Abby, the girl who's the... Oh, sorry, that was me being excited. I understand, no, this is supposed to turn off one. There you go, sorry. That was a clap of excitement. I understand your confusion. I thought I had a stroke for a moment. I was like, what happened? better. And so Abby, who gets revenge on Vera, what is Abby second best at?
Popular.
Being hot. She was the second most hot person. So how do they get revenge on Vera? Rebecca?
They go to her little brother and they bribe her brother to give her her diary, and then they take out like the juicy part of the diary where it
Yes.
says where she likes this boy that's a 7th grader, and then they print them out copies and put it all over the school.
And I thought he was a 7th grader too, but I had a kid actually go back to the book. Apparently he's an 8th grader.
Oh, she's a 9th grader.
She's a 9th grader, so she's older than him. And so apparently he's like a small, dweebish little dude, and she gets all, he's so dreamy, when he walks down the hallway. And they take the copies of the diary, and what do they do with the copies of the diary?
Put them on lockers.
All over the lockers around the school. Being a teacher, I don't see that happening. Walking in like, hey, look, there's embarrassing information making a kid cry. Let's just leave it up. But apparently this school is a little different. They just hate children more than I do. Rebecca?
Why would they when would they do that?
Put this stuff up?
Yeah.
I'm guessing like first thing in the morning when you're coming into school. Just like walking by going thwack, 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 just up on there. I figure you have 7 kids going in different directions all doing it. You can probably cover the school pretty quickly. Let's see, so we did that one. Basketball one? Is that the only one we have left?
Yeah.
Alright. Basketball one, to get to there is the kid that I think Darren? No!
There's the one with the trumpet.
The trumpet one, that's right. The trumpety one, and we get to there, which was David Berger, Bale.
They put like slime,
Uh-huh.
green slime, down his trumpet so that you couldn't see it, and then when he blew out, he like slimed everybody, and they made a film about it. And kids were crying
of joy. And yeah, and so you go, play to spray slime over everyone, and apparently that brings them much happiness. And then we got to the basketball one with Eric Kilfoyle. That sounds right. Eric Kilfoyle, and who's apparently not a very nice person on that one. And they switched out his deodorant with what?
Green paint.
Works for me. Green paint.
fluorescent.
Which is fun, I mean, because they do it in the dark room and he sprays it. But the fun thing is, it turns out there's a bonus, Luke. And what's the bonus?
He's colorblind.
He's colorblind, which means that instead of green paint, what does he think it is?
Red
Blood.
Red blood coming down the side. So he freaks out and thinks that he's shooting blood out of his armpits, which apparently will scare a child. That was you. All right. And so what this is... Focus. There we go. How colorblindness works. If you go when the optometrist, when they check you for glasses or they check you for contacts, they'll check you to see if you're colorblind, and they usually have like little slides or a book you have to look at, and it's got these pictures on there. Is to see if you can tell the red-green. When people are colorblind, it's not like the world's in black and white. That's very, very super-duper rare. Very common for people just to be what's called red-green colorblind. There's also, I think, blue-yellow colorblind. And what it is you just can't see the difference between them. Red and green look like the exact same color. And when kids ask, well, what color does it look like? The answer is, I don't know. I'm not red-green colorblind. And it's hard to ask a red-green colorblind person because they've never seen red or green. So they can't tell you which one it looks like. They're like, I don't know, they both look the same. What they would see, or what you're seeing now, is when you look up here, it's just a bunch of dots. You don't see anything like, yup, just a bunch of dots. What are you looking at? Well, really, there should be numbers on the inside of those dots. A 62, a 6, and a 5. And you should be able to see all the different dots. And
That's a 5. That looks like an M.
just taunting you to see if you're funny.
71. It's a 71 or 21.
It's a 71.
71.
It's the number of B points that you kids have lost in the day. And so that's how the little colorblind thing works. So when he sees it, he just can't tell which one it is, and he just sees the stuff coming down, and he just assumes that when he sees it, it's blood, but it's not, but makes it a bonus for them. That was me, yes. Then they go back, and where's their hangout place? Stonehenge. They go back to Stonehenge. While they're at Stonehenge, they discover something while they're there. Rebecca? What do they discover?
They discover.
Yes. Kennedy? Someone's spying on... Don't you give me that snot. Don't you give me that snot. And so they discover someone's spying on them, and they chase down the spy, and who's the spy turned out to be? Tyson McGaw. And that's when they attack Tyson. And I'm going to read a scene real quick because it makes me smile because it's dripping in irony. It's like page 90 something. 90.
That second, it's hard to see.
2, 3. This is when they grab Tyson and they drag him back down to Stonehenge and they begin to interrogate him and yell at him.
What page?
93. Down towards the first big paragraph it says, Tyson looked at me, and for a very brief instant, I saw something else besides that stupid, crazy look in Tyson's eyes. I don't know exactly what it was that I saw, but it was kind of like what you see when you look into a baby's eyes. And Tyson said, I swear I won't tell a soul if you let me in your gang. What? Please? I've never been in a gang before. I'll do a good job, a great job. Just let me in your gang. It's not a gang! I screamed into his face and then shook him as hard as I could. You don't know a thing! And then Tyson changed. The craziness was back. To heck with you! All of you! I don't want to be in a gang of bullies, and you're the biggest bully of them all! I'm not a bully! I screamed at him, and then pushed him back against the wall as hard as I could, and I became a living embodiment of irony. How has he become an example of irony in that moment? Rebecca?
It's because he says, I'm not a bully, but then he pushes him against the wall and he screams at him, which...
Yeah, and so in the process of him being a bully, he's like, I'm not a bully. Bullies punch people. Oh, gotcha. And so the one thing that... we'll come back to that. Because then they let Tyson go, and Jared begins what we call the path of poor choices. And on the path of poor choices, he tracks Tyson down and finds out Tyson has 2 big secrets. Those 2 big secrets that he discovers from there. Alana?
Example.
Sure.
Okay, he makes little marionettes. And
Yes.
And he wets his bed.
The marionettes are these little doll-like things with on little strings, and so he makes little marionettes, looks like that are absolutely adorable. That's his hobby. And then, of course, he's also a bedwetter, which we'll come back to in a moment. With the marionettes and the one request he has of Jared, there's only one thing that Tyson wants. Can you figure out the one thing that Tyson wants? Rebecca?
Being in a gang?
No, but a good guess. The gang is just a step in that direction. Jumper?
Fred.
He just wants friends. The poor kid, he's like, I want to be in your gang. You guys all hang out and talk to each other? That sounds like friends. I've seen friends on TV. I'd like to have a friend. They're like, we don't like you. And he's like, I don't like you either. And so he goes and he's like, I'm going to build my own friends. Will you be my friend? I'll be your friend. Will you be my friend? I'll be your friend. We're your friends. I'm not crazy. And so that becomes Tyson's issue, is that he starts making his own little friends because he just wants someone to talk to. Is that someone Jared? No. Jared's like, I'm going to be mean to you. Because Jared finds out the secret about the whole, apparently, bedwetting, because apparently Tyson does not have a happy life. And so Jared makes a choice with Tyson and the bedwetting. And what does he decide to do about this knowledge, Grizzle?
He tells him, I know your secret, and I'll tell him if you tell about the gang.
He blackmails him and says, if you tell anyone, then I'll tell someone. And how does Tyson react to the idea of being blackmailed?
He starts to fight him.
Yeah, he goes all rah, rah, and then comes after him and does the whole attacky thing, which freaks Jared out a little bit when you get attacked by a human werewolf. And he's like, and he goes and meets the rest of the gang. He's like, hey, maybe the club should, complete difference, should not keep doing what we're doing because that'd be bad. And that's where we're going to pick up on page 108, is where he's telling them that maybe we should stop. Done, done, done. Let's see. What for? Said Darren, right in the middle after he said we should probably break up what we're doing. What for? Said Darren. Our jokes didn't hurt anybody, did they? I mean, sure, a spider got killed, but I kill spiders every day. Do you see me crying about it? All right, he had a good point. But it didn't make me feel any better. I took my hands away from the fire. Almost immediately, they began to get cold again. But when I put my hands down, Cheryl grabbed one of them and held it gently out of everyone's view. That's when I began to feel a bit better about everything. By the way, what's going on with Jared and Cheryl? No?
Like liking each other.
They like each other. There's definitely a level of likeage
Come
happening.
on now.
I think I know what it is, said OP. I think he's worried about Tyson talking. No, that's not it, I said, and took a deep breath. You want out of the club? Is that it? Asked Darren. No, of course not. I like the club. I love the club. But what? Said Darren. Get to the point. Maybe we should stop the tricks. Cheryl turned to me. Jared, our charter is based on revenge. Yeah, the tricks were your idea. Don't wimp out on us, Jared. Yeah, Jared, echoed Jason. Hasn't it been great fun so far? Asked Abby. I thought about it. It had been great fun. And didn't everyone deserve what they got? She was right. They all deserved what they got. And don't you enjoy being president of the club? Asked Cheryl. All right, she hooked me with that one. And that's when any guilt or doubt I had inside switched off completely. Until that moment, I'd never thought of myself as president. But as I looked around the fire, I saw that everyone was looking at me. Not just looking at me, but looking up to me. Me, the generic kid who never stood out in a crowd and whose face nobody could remember. What an idiot I had been. Here I was, the leader of this club, and I was on the verge of throwing it all away. I wasn't about to do that. Maybe what we need is a slight change of club policy, said Cheryl. I knew what she meant. I picked right up on it. Keep my voice firm, no more wishy-washiness. If I was the president, then I was going to tell them how the club was going to work. All right, I said in my power voice. If we're going to keep this club from falling apart, or even worse, getting caught, we have to stop the tricks for a while. Randall and a few of the others whined. Quiet! I'm not finished. I couldn't believe how quickly they stopped whining. I held back a smile. We were in charge, both Cheryl and I. We had power, and my voice didn't crack once. We have to stop the tricks, and only pull them once in a while when we really feel somebody deserves it. That way we can give them exactly what they deserve when they deserve it, and we'll never get caught. That's our new policy. Right, Cheryl? Right. Cheryl smiled and held my hand a bit tighter. Everyone looked at each other for a few minutes. Then Abby said, "Now that makes perfect sense to me." And everyone agreed, even Darren. Well, what do we do in the meantime? He asked. Eat more marshmallows? Cheryl tossed in the bag. Okay, said Darren, and he did just that.
Where did the marshmallows come from?
They brought marshmallows because there was a fire, and that's what you do to celebrate. Celebratory marshmallows. It's totally a thing. After that, everyone lightened up. Cheryl and I were in charge. Everyone knew it, and everyone accepted it. For the rest of the afternoon, we talked about everything from the fires at school to whether or not anything Ralphie Sherman ever said in his whole life was true. It was great, for as Cheryl said sometime during that afternoon, we were a bunch of kids, not a gang, having fun without doing anything wrong, or at least we weren't doing anything wrong at that moment. We were good kids with good grades from good homes. Everything about us was good. Was there nothing to feel bad about? Nothing at all. Was there?
Let me take that.
Probably. Not surprising either. When the meeting broke up, as usual, I put out the fire. Strangely enough, putting out the fire and leaving Stonehenge had become my favorite part of the meetings. I didn't know why. Okay, no, actually, I sort of did know why. Today, Randall had gone off with everyone else, leaving Cheryl and me alone. Cheryl always waited for me. I liked that. You had me scared for a while, she said as I doused the fire. I thought you were going to say something that would break up the club. I wouldn't do that. It's too much fun. Sure is. I took her hand as we left Stonehenge. So what was bothering you before? I don't know. I guess I started to feel bad about things. Never feel sorry for the enemy. Does Austin feel bad every time he calls you the gopher? No, but I'm not talking about Austin. I feel sorry for Tyson. The slime ball? Why? All he ever does is say nasty things to people and fight. I don't feel sorry for him, and I don't trust him. We'll be lucky if that creep doesn't snitch on us. He won't snitch on us. How can you be sure? Because I am. Then Cheryl stopped walking, and a wide smile appeared on her face. You did something, didn't you? You found a way to keep his mouth shut. You could say that. What'd you do? I found out a secret, that's all. Cheryl's ears seemed to pop up like a rabbit's. Secret? You know a secret about Tyson McGaw? Tell me, I have to know. No, I can't. Why not? I won't tell anyone. I have a deal with Tyson. I won't tell if he doesn't. I don't count, though. A deal's a deal. Who's gonna know? I will. So, Tyson's a better friend than I am. No, just forget I said it. I don't want to talk about Tyson anymore. Cheryl could see she was not going to get anywhere. She sighed. Fine, be that way. I guess we better get going back. I didn't feel like going back, though. It was warm for October. It was just getting toward my favorite time of day. Wait a second. The road's that way, said Cheryl, pointing. No, it's not. It's this way. I knew I was walking in the wrong direction, but I wanted to see if Cheryl would follow. She did, and I ran in front of her. Jared, I think there's a cliff that way. Be careful. Come on. I slowed down as I heard the crash of waves somewhere far below. I could see the horizon through the trees, and soon I came out onto a grassy cliff above the ocean. Cheryl found me a moment later. See? I was right, bozo. I have a good sense of direction. You should have listened to me. I know, I said with a silly smile on my face. Come on, we'll be late. I know. She looked at me, not quite sure what to make of it. You're nuts, you know that? I know, I said, and she laughed. Although I'd come to Stonehenge in the worst of moods, I was in a good mood now. I wanted that good mood to last. I was with my best friend and was having a great time. If my parents scream at me for missing supper, I'm blaming you. I smiled at that, and she smiled back. We sat down together, close to the edge of the cliff, but not close enough to fall. We really are presidents of the club, aren't we? Yeah, we are. There's so much power in that, you know? Being in charge of a club. I mean, 5 other kids letting us make decisions. Isn't it fun? She squeezed my hand tightly. I think I like that the most. Even more than I like getting back at Austin, I like the power. It's like being king of a very small country. I think I'll run for class president this year. Cheryl laughed. Why are you laughing at me? I'm not laughing at you. I just think it'll be funny because you'll be running against me. You're going to run for class president. Sure, why not? Don't you think I'd be a good president? I smiled. Yeah, I do. Hey, maybe we could run together. We're a team, right? She looked at me, then we both looked out over the ocean, sort of afraid to look at each other for too long. The last time we got to talk alone like this was when we were up in the treehouse, talking about how much we hate Austin and Rebecca. I don't want to talk about them. Good. Let's talk about Tyson's secret. I don't want to talk about that either. What do you want to talk about? Nothing, I guess. I smiled. She smiled. And then, for no particular reason, I leaned over and I kissed her on the cheek. She instantly looked away from me. I felt so stupid. I mean, here she was, my best friend, and I kissed her. How stupid could I get? My face turned as red as the sunset. I was going to say, I'm sorry, but didn't have the guts to say much of anything at all. Then she turned to me again and kissed me on the lips. Let me tell you, I didn't know how to feel just then. I felt so good about it. At the same time, it felt so strange, as if we were doing something wrong, as if I wasn't supposed to be enjoying this, as if we wouldn't be friends anymore when the kiss ended. But when the kiss ended, we were still friends, only our friendship was a little bit different, and I knew it'd probably never be the old way again. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, what now? I don't know. Nobody's going to believe us. What do you mean? No one ever believed us when we told them we were just friends and we weren't going out. Now they'll never believe us. Are we going out now? I don't know. Are we? I don't know. Do you want to? I don't know. Do you? This is my 5th grade daughter asking out her boyfriend, by the way. It's the exact same conversation. She does. She broke up, thank goodness. I don't know, said Cheryl. I always thought of you sort of like a brother. You thought of me like Randall? Oh, no way. Well, then I guess you didn't think of me like a brother. I tempted fate and I kissed her again. Now, I didn't care what anybody thought. I didn't care if people thought we were always going out. I didn't care if people said things. I didn't care if some golden rule was written across the sky saying you can't go out with your best friend. I didn't care. Those were treehouse rules for treehouse friends, and The treehouse had grown much too small these past few years. Now we get to the fun chapter. Someone's idea of a joke. Everything changed just a little bit after that Friday afternoon. I find myself thinking a lot more about Cheryl and spending all my free time with her. Randall made a big deal about it and tried to spread whatever nasty rumors a kid brother can get away with spreading, but it didn't bother us. We were having too good a time together to worry about it. After a few days, it was hard to imagine what it was like before we started going out. We knew this was just the start of a wonderful time in both of our lives, and the next few months were going to be great. I had a feeling that everything would start going my way. In just a few weeks, Coach Schuler would be choosing the one runner to represent the school in the district Olympics. And now, I really believe that I would, just once, beat out Austin. Between Cheryl, the Shadow Club, and the progress I was making on the track team, I figured I had it made. Things never turn out the way you planned, though. Bad things have a way of coming back at you, kind of like a boomerang. I don't think anyone ever gets away with anything, you know? Sure, maybe they think they might get away with things, but in the end, could be years later even, boom, that boomerang comes flying right back in their face. The Shadow Club had a boomerang, and it seemed to pick up speed on its way back. It was a strange boomerang that nobody quite expected, and nobody quite understood. But it hit every single one of us so quickly, so furiously, that we never knew what hit us. The bell's ready to ring. We're just like that next part where it gets to the good. Everything changes in the book at that point, so I really wanted to get further with you, but... What? I stopped on page, hang on.
118.
118? 118.